Welcome back. All right, so Colorado, St. Louis. With Colorado winning last night, they win the President's Trophy. Not a jinx for Colorado. The last time they won the President's Trophy, they won the Stanley Cup. And I have to say, they're still my pick for the Stanley Cup. I did not make a change. At the start of the season, said I'm taking Colorado to win it. I'm still taking Colorado to win it. We'll see how they get upset in the first round by St. Louis. And that could happen. These teams are very familiar with each other. It's not like they're going to need name tags on the ice. Everybody knows who everybody else is. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this turns out. Whether or not Colorado can sustain what they've been able to do over the last, I'll say, 20 games especially. It's been insane watching how they've bounced back since a rather underwhelming start to the season. So when you look at Colorado, it really is similar. I'm only saying similar to how Boston's set up. You have that one really, really good line, and then it's, are they going to get the depth scoring that they need? And they've got Burakovsky, who's been absolutely amazing. He's not on the board, so I thought I'd mention him off the top. Burakovsky's been amazing this season, and overall, the depth has been really good. But your top three scorers are your usual suspects. Rantanen, who may have had the best season of his career this year, 52 games, 30 goals, 36 assists, 66 points. Amazing goal scorer, and honestly, should be a 40 goal scorer moving forward. Like, he should be over an 82 game schedule next year, 40 goals minimum. McKinnon, 48 games, 20 goals, 45 assists, 65 points. We can have the debate about how good McKinnon is or isn't for years, and we will still. But in my eyes, McKinnon's still one of the best centers in the NHL. Arguably one of the best players in the NHL. And it is remarkable how good he is. But the other part that's kind of remarkable is that Colorado, over their last couple of games, it's against LA. You can put an asterisk next to that if you want, because that's fair. But without McKinnon over the last couple of games, they still looked really good. They were still very, very well done, very, very well put together as a team. And a lot of that's to do with Rantanen or even Landeskog. Landeskog, 54 games, 20 goals, 32 assists, 52 points for Gabriel Landeskog. What is he worth in the offseason? We'll find out. What his contract's going to be. But that is the big line. It is up to St. Louis, Ryan O'Reilly and the guys to shut that line down and pull off the upset. They are capable of it. They did win the Stanley Cup in 2019. They did it as mostly an underdog. And St. Louis seems to be getting hot at the right time. They're top three scorers. Perron leads them in scoring, probably the best season of his career. 56 games, 19 goals, 39 assists, 58 points. Just falls short of 20 goals. But still, 19 goals over a 56 game schedule, not too shabby. Ryan O'Reilly, 56 games, 24 goals, 30 assists, 54 points. A little bit of an edge to his game this year, and he's going to need that against Colorado. And Hoffman, 52 games, 17 goals, 19 assists, 36 points. An up and down season for him, but in the end, he turns out pretty good. So, with guys like Shen, Braden Shen's not on the board, but he had a really solid run there too. So, yeah, these teams can absolutely run and gun. You'll even notice along the bottom here, I've got the goal magnets just moved over from the goal board. So if you look over all the previews, you'll see some of them have 7, some of them have 8. In this case, both of them have 9, because at some point in time this season, they've scored 9 goals in a game. So I didn't change that going into the playoffs. And there you go. These teams can score in bunches. And this could be a very offensively minded series. Colorado scored 197 goals this year. They allowed 132. Their power play, 22.7%. Penalty kill, 83.1%. Special teams, excellent. Goal scoring, excellent. Goals against, excellent. They outshoot their opponents by 2-1 on a regular basis. On the St. Louis side, they scored 167 goals. They allowed 167 goals. Their power play, actually moderately better than Colorado's overall, 23.2%. And when that power play is hot, it is scorching. This is a team that can score, like I said, in bunches. Penalty kill, 77.8%. A little bit underwhelming there, and we know Colorado has had good nights against that penalty kill before. So whether or not they do again, we'll see. Goaltending. Grubauer, 39-1 record, and that's 30 wins, 9 regulation losses, and 1 in overtime or a shootout. .922 save percentage, 1.95 goals against. I do expect him to get some Vezina votes. I don't expect him to win the trophy, but I do expect him to get some votes. Johansson, who when he came over from Buffalo, everybody said, this is the worst goalie ever. I don't know what they picked him up for. Well, he ends up 5-1-1 with a .913 save percentage and a 2.06 goals against. And considering how shaky he looked at times, that .913 isn't too shabby. Dubnyk, 3-2 after the trade deadline when he came over from San Jose, .886 save percentage, 3.26 goals against. And last I saw, still on the COVID list. Miska, who played some games for them this year, 1-1-2 with an .838 save percentage, 4.16 goals against. So Miska, he tries, and he does, and the effort's there. I just don't know that there's an NHL level goaltender there. On the St. Louis side, they're one of very, very, very few teams in the league who only use 2 goaltenders. That was a rarity this year. Binnington, 18, 14, and 8 are his numbers for St. Louis. A .910 save percentage for Binnington, 2.65 goals against. And Husso, who had a .9-6-1 record, .893 save percentage, 3.21 goals against. Husso coming off of a shutout last night. Shutout 2 nights ago. Last night, of course, it was Binnington that was in net for St. Louis. So the question mark really that you have to have with either of these teams is, so if something happens with Grubauer or if something happens with Binnington, does that turn the series? And we've seen where goaltenders get hurt before. On the Colorado side, we saw that last year. Grubauer down, Francouz down, and Hutchinson almost completed the comeback for them against the Dallas Stars. So we'll see if there's any kind of a goaltending injury issue that takes place in this series, because both teams rely on their starter. It's Grubauer, it's Binnington. If something happens there, that's something that would definitely turn the series. The wild cards for me on the Colorado side, Sam Girard, who had an absolutely amazing season, needs to carry that over into the postseason. Kadri, we know how good he can be. He plays a playoff style of hockey, but he's also got a history, right? So you have to look at that suspension history and say he does have to keep his nose clean more than other players. And Nichushkin, to me, one of the wild cards for this series is going to be Nichushkin. Depth scorer, had a really slow start to the season, had a very, very good second half for Colorado. And Donskoy, one of my favorite players in the league, who is scoring goals at an amazing rate this year for Colorado. If he can carry that over into the playoffs, that could go a long way to deciding the series. And watch for Makar. So it's funny how, I sometimes think to myself, maybe we overhype Makar just a little bit. Sometimes maybe we're just, nah. Then you watch him and you're like, nah, maybe I don't hype him enough. Maybe we don't hype him enough. Makar is one of the best young defensemen in the National Hockey League. Maybe one of the best, just, that's it. You don't have to say young. Maybe he's just one of the best defensemen in the league. This will be a huge series for him because St. Louis has a very good blue line. They don't have Pietrangelo anymore, but picking up Krug seems to have been a solid move. 30 assists for him to go with his couple of goals. The wild cards for me on the St. Louis side, Kyrou. Kyrou had a great start to the season, and then it fell off. But towards the end of the season, his play started picking up again, and he started getting the puck in the net. And so if Jordan Kyrou is going, that could create some problems. Jaden Schwartz, much like in 2018-2019, kind of a regular season that you're not going to see a lot of highlights in. Probably wish he had more goals. But in the postseason in 2019, Jaden Schwartz was fantastic. They need that Jaden Schwartz again if they're going to overcome the Avalanche and knock them out. And Barbashev playing very, very well over the last few weeks for St. Louis. If he can bring that physical game in against Colorado, if he can bring in that shutdown game against Colorado, that can go a long way for them too. And of course, Torrey Krug, who steps into the shoes of Pietrangelo. He did the best he could. Had mixed results at times, but at the end of the season, his stats are pretty good. And I think the Blues and Krug have to be happy with the way this has gone thus far. And watch out for Parayko. Colton Parayko is one of the more underrated defensemen in the National Hockey League. And come playoff time, if it's beast mode Parayko you're going to be looking at, he will make fantastic moves at his own end of the rink. He'll block shots. And then he'll get a breakaway out of nowhere, or as I call them, Paraykoways. And we haven't seen those this year. I didn't write Parayko on the board once that I can remember in a review this year. So he's due. And we'll see how things go for them. Now, how did it go during the regular season? Well, Colorado controlled that. After an opening night that St. Louis controlled 4-1 on January 13th in Colorado. They took it personally. January 15th, they walloped the St. Louis Blues 8-0. And that game, it felt like might have been what started things going ugly for St. Louis. April 2nd, so a long time in between meetings. Colorado wins at home 3-2. April 3rd, Colorado wins 2-1. All of these in Colorado, Colorado winning 3 out of 4. They then on April 14th go to St. Louis, continue winning 4-3. On that occasion, April 22nd, again in St. Louis, they win 4-2. But the two most recent meetings in St. Louis, April 24th, St. Louis wins 5-3. April 26th, St. Louis wins 4-1. Tells you St. Louis in the last two meetings maybe figured some stuff out. Maybe we're going to see a really, really close series. Could end up going 7, but we'll see. I'm excited about this matchup again because these teams know each other not just from this season, but from seasons gone past, and they don't like each other very much. So, again, in the first and second rounds this year, we may see some actual real fighting. We may see some 80s style hockey in the playoffs, and it is hard not to say, yeah, it's likely going to go to St. Louis. Another interesting thing is in 2020, Colorado lost out to Dallas, of course, in 7 games. Just didn't quite complete the comeback with Hutchinson in net. And last year, St. Louis lost to Vancouver in the first round. A series where, and I said this at the time, St. Louis outplayed Vancouver through most of that series. Vancouver was getting the breaks, and they were getting great goaltending. St. Louis wasn't defending those home run passes very well. So maybe, while you're watching this series, see if Colorado's going for home run passes too. And that's where you plant somebody right near the red line, and you try to flip it over the other team and get that fast break pass. The Alex Tuck move, as I've often seen it in hockey games. I'm like, oh, okay, Tuck's at center ice, and they flipped him the puck, and now he's got a breakaway. So we'll see if Colorado tries to do to St. Louis what Vancouver did, or if St. Louis has changed their game completely since last year, and that doesn't work for Colorado. But it should be fascinating. It should be a great goaltending matchup. Great matchup of a team that might be a little more top-heavy, it feels like, at least, against a team that rolls the 4 lines a little bit more, but it's not like the bottom 6 for Colorado or slouches either. So, yeah, this is more evenly matched than the records might tell you, at least in my eyes, but I'm still taking Colorado, and we'll see how things go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to vote in the poll as well in the community page. Before the playoffs start tomorrow, I'll be doing a video where I discuss who the channel's voting for. But hey, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.